How's it going, guys? Cody guys back again and dropping yet another video. I am in the bath again. I've got a gin with ginger ale with mixed fruit in there. You can see strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, juniper berries, cranberries. That's fair. Right, guys, I'm going to do a vlog about the first time I ended up in prison. Now, I've only been in prison 3 times, but the first time I ended up in prison was actually on a stitch-up, right? And obviously everybody knows that I was involved with Dominic Noonan. In the eyes of the police, I was Dominic's right-hand man. It's not a word I'd ever use, but I can see why they pictured it like that. Obviously, we had a lot of friends and associates and everything else. And a certain group of a family that we used to knock around with, based up in Stretford, right? We used to get on with them and stuff like that, and a bit of a strange family, to be honest with you. And there was a big fallout between this family, a group of guys, like I say, a father and his sons, and Dominic, right? Massive fallout, massive. I was actually down in London when that argument kicked off, right? So I was on Dominic's side of the defence, yeah, man. So anyway, cut a long story short, right? This father and his weird boys, yeah, they was up on stolen caravan charges, yeah. Now, if he would have gone to prison, he was facing prison, right? For what it was he was across Europe, caravans were being stolen to order, and then he was coming up through like Rotterdam to Hull on the ferry. He was taking receipt of them, and then he'd go out, he'd sell them on, and he was doing what he was doing. Do you know what I mean? Well, he was facing prison, right, for a lot of these caravans that were going missing, yeah. And it's my opinion that what he actually did was, because he was in with me and Dominic and the lads, right, that he said to the police, look, if I serve him up, will you drop the charges, reference the caravans? Because if he went to prison, number one, he wouldn't act it in prison. Number two, if he went to prison, he would have ended up losing the house and stuff like that. So rather than like obviously taking what comes, if you're involved in criminality and you get caught, you don't stitch anybody there, you just take it on the chin. I mean, you're immersed in a criminal world, and if you get caught, you get caught. I mean, you know what you're doing, you're up to your eyeballs in it, right? And you get caught, you don't ship anybody there, you don't shop anybody there, you just take your charge, you go to jail and you do your time. Well, this fucking scumbag, right, didn't. So what he decided to do was speak to the police, drop statements, was giving the police intelligence and stuff, where we was doing, what we was doing, who we was mixing with, addresses, car registrations, etc., right? And what ended up happening, this family ended up making an allegation up that Dominic had been ringing them and threatening them over the phone, right? No recordings, no nothing, right? And I think Dominic was still on licence, right? And he got recalled to prison because obviously they breached him, charged him with, like I say, with like intimidation and blackmail and everything else that came with it. He ended up in prison. He initially went to Strangeways, then he was shipped over to Armley Prison in Leeds. This family then had a big distaste for me because because I was still loyal to Dominic. They was like, well, fuck it, we're going for him too. So what ended up happening, I was still out and free. I was going on visits to see Dominic. I was still running errands for Dominic and stuff like that, keeping everything like ticking over. Then it came to this family then started to ring me. They was making threats and stuff like that. Now, I had a call recording app on my phone because I knew that I needed to protect myself. I'm not stupid, you see what I'm saying, right? And because this family were now under police protection, right, they had dictaphones near the house phone, they had call recording apps on their phones, they had CCTV placed outside the house as well. So I was very aware that they was in the police's pocket, or the police were in their pocket, however you want to dress that up. They could do what they wanted and the police were never going to fuck them over. So I was like, cover your ass, box clever. So, like I said, I downloaded a call recording app, right? And we ended up on a phone to each other, me and the father of the family, right? And he's giving it the big and down the phone and all that. And I'm like, listen, what are you saying that for? Because I obviously was very aware that I was recording my conversation. So I stayed within the confines of the law. You know, he was making threats and all this stuff, right? And he was kicking off down the phone. Wouldn't ever fight me one-to-one, right? Because I would have smashed him and his sons up. But like I said, he was under police protection, so he had immunity to a massive extent. And then what ended up happening, so that was that. So I kept the call recording, downloaded it, put it on a CD, spread it about friends and stuff like that, because I was very aware that the next person that was going to get arrested because of this family was me, because they'd gone for Dominic. They saw me as second in command to Dominic, so I knew that they was going to try and shit me and shot me. Right. So anyway, fast forward, like they was making threats and stuff like that, load of shit. Like I said, it wasn't of any concern to me. I had no concerns at all for my safety or my well-being. Do you know what I mean? They was the one that was under police protection. They was the one that had police sat outside their house. They was the one that had dictaphones. They was the one that had a call recording apps. They was the one that had CCTV placed outside their home. So what ended up happening was, if we fast forward, was in the December, I think this was 2013, 2014, I'd gone to the bookies to play some bets, right? I came out of the bookies and a police van drove past, right? It was a TAU van, right? And they've ended up recognising me, jumping out. They knew exactly who I was, and they said, "You're wanted on suspicion of threats to kill and witness intimidation." So they jumped out, mob banded in the blue boiler suits and a fucking vest and everything, cuffed me up, put me in the back of the van, take me to the police station. When I'm at the police station, right, they nicked me on about 3:05 on a Saturday afternoon, right? They kept me in the police station. They interviewed me, right? I got a brief. You never, ever go into a police interview without a solicitor, yeah, man. Don't care how severe or how minor the charges, you always have a solicitor present. So I got my solicitor present in police interview. I dropped a prepared statement. I denied the allegation, because what the allegation was, this was the thing, this was what was new to me. The night before, an allegation had been made that I had rang the family, apparently, through a fake Irish accent for 20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds, right? That I rang them and I threatened them for 20 seconds through a fake Irish accent. And then 3 other calls were attributed to be made, not by me, but by 3 other people, apparently. So the police arrested me because this family said, I recognised it's Cody. So obviously they nicked me on the street. I got taken to the police station in interview. They put this to me in disclosure, that an alleged call, a threatening natured call through 20 seconds. How much can you really say in 20 seconds, guys? How could you recognise somebody's voice through a fake Irish accent, apparently? Anyway, the phone box that the call was allegedly made from was forensically and DNA examined. There wasn't a speck of DNA or forensics that came back to me. Why? Because I simply didn't make the phone call, guys. I was actually at home that night. I'd ordered pizza, and pizza was on my cooker and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I've been arrested. I've been, like, they give disclosure. For those that don't know, disclosures where they outline a little bit, half, or a lot of the. Sometimes they give you full disclosure. Sometimes it's partial disclosure. It's a game of cat and mouse, guys. And in that moment, they can hold the pieces for the most part. You're the jigsaw. They're trying to shake the box, trying to get the pieces from you. So obviously there was 3 other people that were alleged to have made calls. I'm not a grass. I don't stitch anybody up. I'd not made my call. I don't know who the 3 other people were alleged to have made their call. So I've gone into police interview, sat down with my brief. We've had a moment. I've dropped a prepared statement denying the allegation, stating that I was at home. And as a matter of courtesy, I will answer no comment to any further question. We went into police interview. The police came at me, and they came at me relentlessly. I've had a lot of interviews in my life, but this was one of the most persistent. Let me get a drink, guys, one sec. Yeah, this was definitely one of the most persistent. I mean, like I say, they was on it, man. There was question after question. So yeah, so it was persistent, it was question after question. Both of them were on me. Listen, if you know who's made these calls, you tell us who's done it, you'll walk, we'll get them. it's all good. You don't need to go down for what somebody else has done. I didn't fart then, just moved my ass on a bath. So yeah, so they was like, look, like, just tell us who's done it, you can walk, we'll get them, you can go home. So, as usual, guys, living by the code of silence and the code of the underworld. No comment, no comment, no comment, no comment, no comment, no comment. Police interview finished. They put me back in my cell. They pulled me out about a couple of hours later, 3 a.m. Charged me with no evidence, no corroborating evidence, no forensics, no DNA, no call recording, no nothing. Isn't it amazing, guys? 4 calls are attributed to be made. 1 to be made by me. 3 of them were recorded. The one that I was attributed to have made wasn't recorded. How amazing is that, guys? Right? With no forensics, no DNA, no call recording, just simple voice recognition, so somebody recognising my voice. I was arrested, questioned and charged in the space of, I think, just under 12 hours. It was a Sunday, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's no court on a Sunday. Kept me until Monday morning. Obviously, the police denied me bail. It's just a holding charge, guys. I know the case, I know the score. So then they've come, they put me on a Sweatbox in the morning. They've taken me to Trafford Magistrates because the allegation was made out of Stretford. Get on the Sweatbox, cuffed up to a screw, put me in the back of the Sweatbox, put me in the finger, take me to court. I had a meeting with my solicitor in the cells. You go into like a little holding cell and stuff like that, talk to your solicitor. Straight away, my solicitor said to me, I've spoken to the CPS. Even if you get bail now, they're going to appeal. You're going to prison tonight. Right? Now, like I say, I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you that I wasn't like full of trepidation and anxious about, because I'd hurt a lot of people when I was criminally active. I'd worked on the doors, I'd fucked people up. And then there's this notorious prison, Strangeways, which is down the road now. Obviously, from each court, you go to a specific prison. It serves a particular prison unless that prison's locked out. So I've gone up into the dock. The judges have given me bail. CPS waive a bit of paper. That means you get recall. You get 40-hour recall. So I went straight to prison. I was put back in the cells, and then they said to me, I said, well, what prison do I go from here? And I was sweet talking this female screw and that, because obviously it's nice to be nice. And then she said, there's not many places at Strangeways, so you could end up in any prison in the north of England. So I was like, for fuck's sake. But I was being sweet with her. Put me in the cell, give me a sandwich, pack of crisps, coffee, a couple of biscuits. They popped my door. She said, right, you're the lucky one. She said, lucky one. She said, you're going to Strangeways, because there was people that was on that Sweatbox that were going back to Strangeways. I filled the last place on that Sweatbox. I was going to Strangeways. And she said the rest of them are going to, I think it's Armley, which is Leeds. So I was like, right. So that was it. I got put onto the Sweatbox. My whole world had come crashing down, guys. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was in the dock, my legs were like jelly. Put me into the Sweatbox. Didn't even know if I was sharing a cell with 5 people, 3 people. I was a hardened criminal, but I'd never been in prison. So I was like, well, what's this all about? So, like I say, put on the Sweatbox. My whole world come crashing down, guys. My liberty had just been taken, and you can't put that into words until you've actually lost your liberty. On the Sweatbox and stuff, I've got my head between my hands just thinking, I can't believe this fucking bullshit. The police have stitched me. The police have been after me for years, and they finally get me, but they got me on a bullshit charge by police informers, right? Which is lies, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, like I say, guys, 4 calls. 1 was attributed to be made by me. No call recording. The reason there was no call recording is because I simply didn't make that call. Load of shit. Police facilitated that. Like I said, landed at Strangeways. The lads were like, come on, we're going home. Miss, can we stop at Mackie's drive-thru and all that? And I started to cheer up. And I was talking to the boys like, do you get a TV and all this stuff? I didn't know shit. I didn't know me from my ass, you know what I'm saying? And anyone that's been to prison for the first time, if anyone says that they're not a bit nervous or a bit anxious, fucking lying bastards. Anyway, so I've landed at the jail, get processed. Because I've been on a documentary, they all knew me. The screws knew me straight away. Because they knew who I was involved with, obviously Noon and Dominic. They was giving me a rough ride. They speak to me like shit. But I don't even think it was relevant about Dominic. I think they just wanted to be twats. You know what I mean? HMP staff, I've got nothing positive to say. So I didn't know that you called him sir or boss or gov. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, mate, no, mate. It's like, I'm not your fucking mate, yeah, mate. My brain was telling me to smash him, but I thought, let's just see what the script is. So that was it. Got strip searched, saw the nurse, got me 2-minute phone call, sat on the boss chair, went into an holding cell, was in the holding cell for several hours, Eventually, they took me up onto the induction wing. The induction wing actually swapped in the morning. The last night I was up on the floors, padded up with an Irish kid, walked into his cell. It was, if you walk into somebody's cell and you're the first time in prison, that cell is whoever you're sharing the cell with. You're entering their cell. They've been in that cell longer than you. That's their cell. Anyway, I was trying to write a letter. My head was spinning. He turned the TV off. He turned the light off. He went to sleep. I can't write in the dark. So I just lay there with my hands behind my head thinking, what the fucking hell, like what's going to come tomorrow? Anyway, next day we ended up swapping wings to another wing, which then became induction wing because I think it was bigger or something. So we swapped wings, we packed up our stuff, we went down to there, did induction, blah, blah, blah. Spent the next couple of months in Strangeways on remand. And then I got told by Dominic's sister, wicked lady by the name of Doreen, she said, oh, our kid is Manchester for like sibling, right? So he's due in tomorrow because he's got a bail up, right? So I knew that he was going to land at Strangeways, right? So from Armley, he was in Armley at the time, dropped him in Strangeways. I said to the screw, so if Dominic lands here, will he come onto this wing? And he said, why are you asking? I said, well, because he's my Cody. Like Cody means co-defendant. So anyway, chatting away. Then the next minute, they pop my door and say, is there a problem if Noonan comes on here? I said, no, why would there? I said, he's my Cody. So I look out the door and I see back of Dominic's head. So I shouted, Dominic. He said, who's that? I shouted, Cody, you're Cody. He said, yes, Cody. So that was it. And that was it. And then I spent a couple of, like, me and Dominic, because we was both on remand, you don't talk shop in your cell. Because if you have a paranoid mentality when you're locked up on remand, you don't discuss your case with anybody, even your cellmate. It's known that the prison can bug police cells or plant prisoners to get the information, right? It happens, guys, trust me. I know it sounds paranoid, but it happens. Anyway, so me and Dominic went to the showers and we'd speak in the shower because obviously any mist from the heat and stuff and the humidity would have fucked the bug up. So we used to talk shop in the shower. Anyway, that was that. I kept my mouth shut. Eventually got shipped to Forest Bank, landed at Forest Bank, was kicking off royally because I didn't like it, because I was used to Strangeways. Strangeways, very simple jail, ruthless jail, 22, 23 hour bang up, guys. Spent the next couple of months in Forest Bank. Eventually the charge got dropped from witness intimidation down to attempted witness intimidation. I applied for a bail application. I was on a legal visit. And he said, oh, well, you'd rather wait for a larger break in the case before we put another bail up in because I've been knocked back on like several. And I said, and I lost my rag within me. I said, hold on, so if you were sat here and I was your brief and there's an opportunity to bang another bail up in, would you want me to bang the bail up in or would you ask for a bigger, like a break in the case? He said, well, I want the bail up. I said, so shut your fucking mouth and get the bail up in. Anyway, put the bail up in and I pulled Judge Kokar, right, at Manchester Minchell Street, Crown Court, right? He's a bastard. He'd already knocked Dominic back on several bail applications. So we deferred it, put it back, ended up going before another judge. I think it was Judge Potter. He's another prick as well. But he was like, why is this kid even in jail, right? And he gave me bail, guys. I couldn't believe it. He actually gave me bail. I got on a visit with my Cody's sister, her husband, and the girl that I was seeing at the time. And then it was like, we had to leave court because your judging chambers or your JC are still going through. It's not been heard yet. I was like, for fuck's sake. So I'm sat there fuming, thinking I'm never going to get out of jail. And then he said, I'm only joking. You made bail. I was like, fucking get in, sort of screws, like, calm down, chill out. I was like, yeah, that's good. So I knew I was going home. So that was it. I came off the visit. I'm high as a kite, go back to my wing. That morning, I just had a £47.50 canteen delivered. Give it to the kid that I was padded up with. Went up and seen the red badge, said Ada earner, red badge at Forest Bank, safe screw. I said, look, I've made bail. So he rang through to custody at the prison. They said, yeah, he's got bail. That was it, I got bail. I was bailed, eventually, like I said, got out. We put an application in to dismiss because the charges were obviously bullshit and it was obviously fabricated by these police informing family. It was accepted by the judge. The police then ordered the police to investigate this family. And like I say, they were slagging me off online and blah, blah, blah. The police didn't want to do that, so the CPS then emailed my solicitor. My solicitor rings me, he said, good news. I said, what? He said, the CPS are going to offer no evidence, voice recognition isn't enough, so that's it. So I had to go back to court. I pleaded not guilty, they found me not guilty, walked free from court, guys. That was it. You can't get any compensation or anything like that. I was just glad to be out and obviously free, and the charges were dropped. And that was it, guys. I just kept my mouth shut, went to jail, did my jail, didn't mention any names, lived by the code. I didn't make the call, and like I said, justice was seen to be done. Well, in the sense that the charges were dropped. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. This is a 20-minute vlog, so let me know what you think about the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.